The storm raged through the small, isolated town, whipping snowflakes across the frozen streets in a dizzying dance. Inside an old Victorian house, Eleanor sat alone in front of a fireplace that cast shadows on the walls like restless spirits. It was Christmas Eve, but no family gathered around her. No laughter filled the air. Her husband, Richard, had vanished months ago, leaving only a cryptic letter behind, speaking of things that no man should know. Every year she hoped the Christmas season would somehow bring him back, but tonight something felt different. The house groaned as though it too were haunted by something unseen. Eleanor stood and walked to the window, peering out into the night, where the moon struggled to break through the thick clouds. The snow outside glowed an unnatural shade of green, the color of decay, and she could have sworn she saw a figure in the distance. She rubbed her eyes, but it was gone. Still, the air felt heavier, oppressive, as though the very walls of the house were closing in on her. A faint, scratching sound echoed from the attic, a rhythmic noise that matched the pounding of her heart. It was odd. It hadn't been there before. As the hours dragged on, Eleanor's mind began to splinter. The scratching grew louder, more frantic, and then there came a soft thudding, like something or someone was stumbling across the floor above her. She didn't dare look. The letter Richard left behind mentioned things about the darkness in the old house, about the pact he made with something beyond the stars. At first, Eleanor had dismissed it as madness, but now she wasn't so sure. She remembered the way his eyes had looked when he spoke of the Christmas gift he sought to procure. The thought of it sent a cold shiver down her spine. The clock struck midnight and Eleanor froze. A figure appeared in the doorway, silhouetted by the faint glow of the fireplace. It was Richard, or something that looked like him. His face was gaunt, his eyes wide with an unnatural gleam, his body twisted in ways that defied human anatomy. He didn't speak, but she could feel his presence, as though he were not alone. The darkness behind him seemed to breathe, shifting and swirling, a mass of inky tendrils that grew and pulsed with an otherworldly rhythm. Eleanor's mouth went dry. She reached out, but a hand passed through him as though he were a shadow. And then, with a cold smile, he stepped back into the dark. The scratching from above grew louder, as though the house itself was alive and watching.